that you are all aware of this event being organized, and this will be an annual feature from this time onwards. So I just take you to the functions of the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission before we proceed on to this specific topic allotted to me. So, why I chosen this? Because many of you may not be aware of the functions of IPC, which are so important that in one way or others, you will be requiring the standards and support from the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission. So we publish the Indian Pharmacopoeia. Indian Pharmacopoeia is a legally recognized book of standards for medicines in our country, and according to the second schedule of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940 and rules 1945 thereunder, it is an authoritative regulatory document in respect of the standards of drugs. In case any standard of a medicine is not available in Indian Pharmacopoeia, then other official pharmacopoeias may be used. If any monograph is not there in the current version of Indian Pharmacopoeia, then and if it is available in immediately preceding version of Indian Pharmacopoeia, that is also valid. So the last edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia has come out in 2018, and we have also come out with the addendum in 2019 and 2021 respectively, and this document is available either from Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission or from the authorized distributors of it, and the list is available on the website of IPC. Then we also published the National Formulary of India, and we soon intend to release 2021 edition of National Formulary of India. So this guidance document is basically for healthcare professionals for rational and economic prescribing of medicines. Then to support the standards specified in Indian Pharmacopoeia, the reference standards are required, and these are the highly characterized physical materials against which the quality of a sample under examination can be monitored. And as you all know, that pharmacovigilance program of India is also being operationalized through Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission with the support from ADR monitoring centers and with the support of pharmaceutical industry and other interested stakeholders. I just take you to the definition of pharmacovigilance before I come to the regulatory part. So, you know that the quality, safety, and efficacy of a medicine is very important. If any of these attributes are compromised, then a drug will not find a place on the market. And therefore, you can understand that how important the pharmacovigilance as well as determination of quality, safety, and efficacy of medicines is. As per World Health Organization, pharmacovigilance is defined as the science and activities related to the detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of adverse effects or any other medicine related problem. Coming to the need and benefits of pharmacovigilance, ideally, none of the available drugs is 100% safe, and it bears some extent of risk. However, the benefit of a medicine should always outweigh its risk. And to protect the patients from unnecessary harm and increasing healthcare cost from medicines, pharmacovigilance is required. Then, when clinical trials are conducted and after passing phase 3 clinical trial, marketing authorization is granted by the office of the DCGI for uh, for uh, for the product. But at that moment also, during the phase 3 clinical trials, the clinical trials are conducted within the controlled population, and some of the rare reactions which require long-term monitoring in a broad range of population may not be detected at that point of time. And therefore, the post-marketing surveillance and the post-marketing assessment is necessary. And it is not so that we require the safety monitoring only of the new drugs, but at the same time, the safety monitoring of already approved drugs is also required. And as long as a drug is on the market, its safety monitoring is required. So, for signal detection and to take the risk minimization measures, pharmacovigilance is again needed. And to early detect the new adverse drug reactions on patients, subgroups of exceptional sensitivity, pediatric population, geriatric population, pregnant, etc. So, this such type of population may not be usually included in the clinical trials. Then, to promote the rational use of medicines and for medication adherence, it is required to support the regulatory agencies in decision-making process for safe use of medicines. That means if there is disturbance in the benefit and risk ratio and it requires close monitoring or any change in the labeling information, then such decisions are recommended to the regulatory authorities. Then, to boost the public confidence for safe and proper use of medicines, assess the safety of drug therapies, especially the recently approved drugs, to provide the updated drug safety information to healthcare professionals and other stakeholders, and also to reduce the socio-economic burdens of patients due to the adverse drug reactions. Coming to the pharmacovigilance program of India. So, pharmacovigilance program of India is one of the major health programs being operationalized by the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission. The National Coordination Center is at IPC Ghaziabad, and under the ambit of pharmacovigilance, we have Material Vigilance Program of India as well as the Hemovigilance Program of India. The vision of the Pharmacovigilance Program of India is to improve the patient safety and welfare of Indian population by monitoring the safety of medicines and thereby reducing the risk associated with their use. The mission of Pharmacovigilance Program of India is to safeguard the health of Indian population by ensuring that the benefits of medicines outweigh the risk associated with their use. So before before 15th of April 2011, the National Coordination Center for PVPI was located in the Department of Pharmacology, All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Later on, through a ministry order, it was shifted to Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, Ghaziabad. And we have completed 10 years of operationalization of pharmacovigilance program of India with the support of all the stakeholders. At this moment, now we have 395 adverse drug reaction monitoring centers across the country, and recently we have also given approval to about 50 more centers. If you look internationally, then India joined officially the WHO program for international drug monitoring in the year 1998 after the WHO took a call after a call to establish this system for international drug monitoring. So WHO had started the PIDM in 1968, and after that, gradually the member countries were being inducted, and we got inducted in this program since 1998 as a member country. So India is a permanent member of WHO program for international drug monitoring. Coming to the adverse drug reactions reporting status, so you can see that there is an increasing trend of the reporting of the individual case safety reports year by year. And today, at this moment, we have around 5 lakhs of individual uh, case safety reports from Indian population in WHO database. Now, who can report the adverse event or adverse experience? Consumers or the patients or their caregivers can report the adverse reactions. Healthcare professionals like physicians can report. Paramedical staffs such as pharmacists and other healthcare professionals such as nurses, dentists, they can also report. Pharmaceutical industries can also are also reporting, and at this moment reporting to pharmacovigilance program of India is through spontaneous mechanism system. And when the PSURs, the periodic safety update report submission by the pharmaceutical industries is for a period of 4 years at an interval of every 6 months for first 2 years, and then on annual basis for the next 2 years. However, if the regulatory authority requires further submission of the periodic safety update report or data, they can uh, they can get it done. Now, why reporting is required? Because is take for example, if there is a serious adverse event, then it can create a havoc in the hospital and can create the fear also to the other patients who are there as soon as they come to know that some adverse drug reaction has taken place. So it is not only the image of the hospital, but also the safety of the patient, posing the serious risk to him or her, and therefore you can understand how important the pharmacovigilance system is. And your reporting can create a chain and can enhance the reporting status to for overall affecting the magnitude of the reporting. Now, what should be reported? All kinds of these suspected adverse drug reactions need to be reported, whether they are known or unknown, serious or non-serious, frequent or rare, or whether they occur on account of the allopathic drugs, Ayurvedic drugs, vaccines, or the medical devices, etc. So, the scope of pharmacovigilance has been broadened to include the biological products, medical devices, and other medical products as well. So, duly filled in suspected ADR reporting form can be sent through the adverse drug reaction monitoring centers, and we encourage reporting through the nearby ADR monitoring center, and then we do a quality check on the completeness and the overall grading for the information is also done at the National Coordination Center for PVPI. We also have a toll-free helpline number 1800 1803 for reporting, and you can download the ADR reporting form either from IPC or IPC website, or from the CDSO website, or it is also available in National Formulary of India. And you can refer to the list of the adverse drug reaction monitoring centers by logging onto the website of Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission. Four minimum parameters are required for filling in the ADR reporting form. So there should be an identifiable patient, a suspected medicinal product, an identifiable reporting source, and an event or the outcome. This slide shows different type of the suspected ADR reporting form. So this form on the on my on my left hand is for healthcare professionals. In the middle, it is a simpler form, particularly for reporting by the consumers, and on the right hand side, the specifically designed form for collection of the adverse events on account of drugs being used in the prophylaxis and treatment of COVID-19 drugs. The consumer reporting form is available at least in 10 regional languages such as Hindi, Gujarati, Kannada, Bengali, Malayalam, Odia, Tamil, Marathi, Telugu, Assamese, etc. I will also briefly explain about the flow of information or communications in PVPI. So we have the National Coordination Center for PVPI at IPC Ghaziabad, and we have the different technical committees and apex committees such as steering committee, working group, and other technical committees such as signal review panel, core training panel, and quality review panel. So healthcare professionals or patient can report to ADR monitoring centers. Then regional training centers, they provide the basic as well as the advanced level trainings in their region on pharmacovigilance. So, based on the performance of the ADR monitoring centers, the regional training centers are designated, and this moment, we have 9 regional training centers across India. Then the Central Drugs Standard Control Organization, different offices, they help the program um, in in matters of the regulatory decisions and providing other type of the technical support. Then the marketing authorization holders, they can also report, and this whole information from National Coordination Center after due processing is sent to the WHO Uppsala Monitoring Center at Sweden, and the regulatory recommendations are sent to the Central Drugs Standard Control Organization, FDA Bhavan, New Delhi, to the Office of the Drugs Controller General of India for regulatory decisions. So, if you look at different channels of reporting, we have ADR PVPI mobile application, which can be freely downloaded for the Google platform having an Android system. Then we have toll-free helpline number, as I just told you. Then different type of the ADR reporting form, and this information can be sent through the ADR monitoring centers. Then PVPI also has a collaboration with public health programs like National Tuberculosis Elimination Program, National AIDS Control Program, operationalized by National AIDS Control Organization, then National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program, and Universal Immunization Program. So there are different centers and collaboration of PVPI with these public health programs. You will also be happy to note that WHO has bestowed upon PVPI the designation as a WHO collaborative center for pharmacovigilance in public health programs and regulatory services on 18th of July 2017. So we completed 4 years of its maintenance, and it has been again redesignated as a WHO collaborative center to provide the support to various countries in the area of pharmacovigilance. And I, from here onwards, I specifically will cover up about the regulatory aspects, uh, of pharmacovigilance. Now, if you see this slide, then you will find that the Schedule M of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940 and Rules 1945 thereunder, clause 28.2, it mentions about the reporting of the serious adverse reactions which result from the use of a drug, along with the comment and document. They shall be sent forthwith, reported to the concerned licensing authority. And you can also see that there was also a mention of the pharmacovigilance system in Schedule Y to the drugs and cosmetics rules. And you can see that these were the lines inserted under the post-marketing surveillance, that the applicant shall have a pharmacovigilance system in place for forwarding the report to the licensing authority for information on adverse drug reactions emerging from the use of drug manufactured or marketed by the applicant in the country. The system shall be managed by qualified and trained personnel, and the officer in charge of collection and processing of data shall be a medical officer or a pharmacist trained in collection and analysis of adverse drug reactions. So now the new drugs and clinical trial rules have been notified by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, through a gazette notification on 19th of March 2019, and it mentions in detail about the post-marketing assessment of new drugs under fifth schedule. So those who are interested to see the details, they can see the new drugs and clinical trial rules 2019, which is available um, in the public domain. Then the Pharmacy Council of India has also taken the proactive steps for including pharmacovigilance as one of the subject in pharmacy undergraduate curriculum, and we also find the mention of pharmacovigilance at the PG level also in many of the universities. Then under National Health Policy 2017, pharmacovigilance is there and prescription audit clause is also there. So you can go through the National Health Policy for the details. So coming to the different recommendations of Pharmacovigilance Program of India to Central Drugs Standard Control Organization. So after the careful scrutiny of the available data, 125 drug safety alerts have been issued and 50 prescribing information leaflet changes have been recommended to CDSO, and 7 signals, which you can see from this slide, have also been reported. So I will not be going into much of the detail on account of constraint of time, but I will be requesting you all to be the active, to play an active role in sensitizing the public about the adverse drug reactions and how they can be properly and ethically reported. And you will also be happy to note that today uh, uh, we had the many dignitaries present during the inaugural of the National Pharmacovigilance Week at the National Coordination Center for Pharmacovigilance Program of India, which included the officials from World Health Organization, the officials from the International Society of Pharmacovigilance, and the Drugs Controller General of India, and many other dignitaries such as Professor Y.K. Gupta, President AIMS Bhopal and AIMS Jammu, and and uh, and there was sufficient number of the audience to listen to the inaugural address. So with this, I come to the end of my presentation, and let us all celebrate the National Pharmacovigilance Week and help the patients with respect to their safety, especially the safety of the patients, that from that the all medicines, all medical products are safe for the patients. So thank you very much for your attentive listening. If you have any question, I will be happy to reply to your questions.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful presentation. If any questions are there, please be free to ask. Okay, sir, no, there are no questions. Thank you very much, sir. Now I request Dr. Madan Gaikwad, sir,
Sir, thank you very much for your enlightening speech, and I should thank you for sparing time for us in spite of your busy schedule, because you're organizing the activities all over India. Let us give him a big round of applause. And particularly, he has taken a very good initiative of conducting this program and spreading awareness in various forms. This time it is art and science combined. We have movie competition, we have poster competitions. So that way, some people have organized pencil art competitions. We have organized reflective. Thank you very much, sir. We will hope that we will join your hands with you very well. And our team is also with you all. Our management is supporting us, and we will ensure that this activity becomes a grand success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Dr. Madan Gayakwad, our Special Officer, CD Saima, to address the gathering.
Good afternoon, esteemed colleagues, learned members of CD Saima, and my dear students. As you all know, we are celebrating the Pharmacovigilance Week, starting today till the 23rd of September, one whole week. What is pharmacovigilance? Pharmacovigilance is to recognize any adverse reaction. One of the main component of that is what we call as ADR, that is adverse drug reaction with the patients. See, as you all know, drug is a chemical given to your body at a specific dosage so that a desired result is obtained. That is how the drug discovery is done. Now it doesn't, it is being tested, animal experiments and human volunteers and all that. But that doesn't mean that it is safe across the board to everybody. For example, one may take a simple paracetamol in the morning, but the same individual taking the same paracetamol in the evening may throw up a reaction. So it doesn't mean that it is 100% safe. So that is the reason pharmacovigilance and reporting of adverse drug reaction is extremely important. The youngsters would, in fact, learn all this as you go forward. Why is this so important? Is of late there's been a strong emphasis on patient safety. In fact, today it is also the patient safety. We are celebrating the patient safety day. Earlier on, when we were students or much earlier on, there was not much importance on this pharmacovigilance. However, of late, as medicine has advanced, newer drugs are discovered. The importance of the pharmacology and the drugs has been overemphasized. If you really look at the past century, there were a lot of diseases that were identified, a lot of medicines, drugs were discovered, penicillin and so on and so forth. Treatment modalities were discovered. With all that, it was also realized that there is a huge burden of the disease, a burden of the financial burden. So this century, the prominence is given more on the prevention of the diseases. Preventive aspect is more pronounced. And with all the steps in the advancement, the indices, the healthcare indices also has shown a remarkable improvement all over the world, including India. Now, in this process, there is also a great emphasis on the medication that is given in the course of prevention. Like, for example, in cardiac, to reduce the cholesterol, they give what is called as statins, to keep the cholesterol under check. Now, India has got a very unique problem. On one hand, the death rate due to communicable diseases as well as non-communicable diseases is more or less equal. Whereas you go to the Western world, the non-communicable diseases, the deaths due to non-communicable diseases are more. Infectious diseases are very less. However, India, we have a unique problem. And not to stop short there, the non-communicable or the lifestyle diseases is actually threatening to make India the world capital, like diabetes and hypertension. So that's the state. Now, to a large extent, this has to be prevented. It is not only treating the hypertension, it is treating the complications of the hypertension, preventing the complication of hypertension, preventing the complications of diabetes. So pharmacology assumes a very strong place in prevention. Today, earlier they discovered open heart surgery and coronary artery bypass. Then, that produces a lot of not only burden on the individual, on the nation, the financial burden, but loss of productivity for the individual. Loss of productivity for the individual. So in that context, everybody thought that we should try and prevent those complications, especially in renal failure, chronic renal failure, end-stage renal disease. So these are where the productivity of an individual, the bread earner, is severely deteriorated. And that causes a lot of anxiety. There are so many people who have given up on that particular individuals instead of pursuing the treatment. Today we have some insurance schemes and all that. Earlier days, about 20, 30 years back, none of that was there. So with that context, there is more and more usage of drugs, not only for treatment, for therapy, but also for prevention. We still don't know, in the drugs what we consume. Today, day in and day out, there is consumption of a huge amount of drugs. Not only consumption, there is actually abuse, what they called as anti-inflammatory abuse, antibiotic abuse. There is too much of drugs that is being consumed. It could be prescribed or it could be self-medication, whatever it is. And these are the ones which give a lot of adverse effect, both immediate effects and the long-term effects. So pharmacovigilance is one which, in fact, monitors all this at an individual level, at a community level, at an institution level, and provides corrective measures. We should take corrective measures. There are certain drugs which are not to be consumed, so we have to stop consuming them or reduce the dosage or titrate the dosage. There could be drug-drug interaction, drug-food interaction, so on and so forth. So in that context, I think the pharmacovigilance is extremely important. I'm very happy that CDSIMR has taken first steps in participating in this at a national level. This is going on at national level. I think all of you, the students sitting at the back, should realize that we have taken the steps in this direction. And especially today, in the morning, we had the session in physiology, CME in physiology, and now we have this. And CDSIMR being a budding institution, and such academic activities will go a long way. And tomorrow, when you students graduate, I think you should take greater steps and take these programs by leaps and bounds. I have also been suggesting Madam Pratibha Nadik to start a drug information center here at CDSIMR, which will be, we are planning to function in 24/7. Anybody can call up 24/7 and inquire on the drugs or report the ADR and stuff like that. Hopefully, I think in future days, coming days, we will do all that. We are just budding, as I said. We will evolve in this whole process. Having said that, I I'm very happy and congratulate the Department of Pharmacology for having taken this step. And this is a week-long program. We have the valedictory on the 23rd of September. So let us do it. And I wish the department a great success in this program. And I want of course, you are not even studied pharmacology. Next year, you'll be moving on to pharmacology. Nevertheless, try to understand this. We never had this opportunity when we all studied. I think in the whole year, we had 1.5 years first year. In the whole first year, there were only 2 guest lectures. There were only 2 people who visited our, they came on their own for a holiday and, our college forced them to give a talk. So that's not the case. Today, you have so much of information. At a click, you can get so much of information. We never had that opportunity those days. While you are trying, people always talk about downloading information. Also spare a thought for somebody sitting and uploading the information. Now, there is somebody doing a lot of research and uploading the information. So never forget those who do it. And I wish you people do the research and upload a lot of your work, original work, so that it helps the entire community. So thank you very much for giving this opportunity, and I wish all the best to the Department of Pharmacology under Dr. Pratibha Nadi to take things forward and make this a great institute and each and every program a great success. Thank you very much.
Now I request Dr. Rajkumar as Vice Principal and Medical Director.
Good afternoon. Dr. Madan Gaikwad, Special Officer, members of the faculty, students, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to stand before you on this important occasion of the National Pharmacovigilance Week and speak a few words. When we look back on our days in MBBS, when we walked into the Department of Pharmacology, and day one, the lectures first lecture used to be about the definition of pharmacology, definition of pharmacognosy, pharmacotherapeutics, pharmacovigilance, and so on. It's not that we did not know what is pharmacovigilance. It was there. It is simply that in the last decade or so, with so much of drugs coming in, the pharmaceutical industry burgeoning, so much of sponsorship going on, that the importance of drugs, the side effects, and the necessity for having a centralized agency to monitor it has all come up. Sadly, the awareness amongst healthcare workers dealing with patients. When I say dealing with patients, by and large, there are 2 classes. One is the doctors, one is the nurses. Our awareness about pharmacovigilance is very, very skeletal, or maybe nothing at all. I was just reading an article in the Indian Journal of Pharmacology and Therapeutics. In the West, only 6% of healthcare workers are aware of pharmacovigilance, what it means. And about 10% people know about adverse drug reaction reporting. So 90 to 95% people, even in the West, whom we consider advanced, now we are also becoming advanced. They don't know. If they have an adverse drug reaction, what to do. Most of us give some steroids, they will stop the drug, shift to another drug, and finish it off. Unless it is serious, when you go in and do a proper reporting. So, keeping all this in mind, the Indian Pharmacopeia Commission and several other countries, along with the WHO, decided that we should have some sort of a central monitoring system and see that the patients do not suffer. And the industry is made aware that the drugs which are being introduced do have certain reactions which may even be trivial. Let's look at the magnitude of the problem. As what our special invitee, Dr. Jayaprakash said, we have got about 400 plus monitoring center in our country alone. let's say there's a new drug being introduced by an industry from a company. The basic drug may be the same, but the vehicle may be something different. You give it because the basic drug is the same, and you land up with a drug reaction. The drug reaction may be trivial. Simultaneously, please remember the same drug is being introduced in several, being given by several people in several parts of the country. If each of them have got a single drug, one patient reporting a trivial reaction, on a single day you may have almost 400 plus drug reactions. Okay, just look at the magnitude like that. I just wanted to give it to you as an example. So if you have an adverse reaction to a particular drug, even if it's on a smaller scale coming from 2 or 3 centers, that becomes even more important. Hence the importance of pharmacovigilance. So it's not something which needs to be just brushed under the carpet, but the awareness should grow. So that way I'm very happy that we have taken on this awareness program to teach them in this pharmacovigilance week. And it's nice that the country is also collaborating with external agencies to see that we have an excellent monitoring system. You know, we at CD CIMA, though it's a fledgling institution, I came about close to almost 1 year and 9 months ago. The Department of Pharmacology, we decided to have a pharmacovigilance committee. We started this committee sometime in February, March. Dr. Shivamurthy was there. We had a meeting also because we were aware that we have to have something. Unfortunately, we ran into a pandemic. Still, before that, I remember he went around from ward to ward, department to department, trying to make people aware of something called adverse drug reaction, gave pamphlets, put notices in the wards, and so on. So we have started fairly early in our college. It's not that we have not started. Then again, a few months ago, when we got a letter saying that, can we take on the job of being an adverse drug reaction monitoring center? The HOD came to us and the principal and I sat down and we had a talk and we decided, I think we should take on, because it's important that we should be something of importance to, as far as the country is concerned, we should contribute something. And it's also important that it's a teaching institution. And we said yes. And they immediately made us a monitoring center. So the moment we become an adverse drug reaction monitoring center, the responsibilities become multifarious and multifold. And I'm sure we are up to it. As you have noticed, this full week is dedicated to that. And we have started with a big bang. One more thing I want to say is the fact that this awareness should trickle down to the lowest level. Every person who's dealing with any sort of a distribution of drug or prescription of drug, even if it's a sister who's just giving a bit of an emergency drug at night, or any medical device which nowadays are classified as drugs, even a simple thing like a medicated plaster or costly implant which are putting in, all these things are considered a drug, and it may produce some sort of a drug reaction which needs to be monitored and conveyed. One aspect is treating the patient. Another aspect is, of course, the compensation for the patient. So keep this in mind. As you grow up in the profession, nothing is trivial. Nothing is small enough to ignore as far as the treatment is concerned with drugs. I must congratulate the department to take on this responsibility, to have taken on this responsibility, organizing various competitions. And it is a fairly big burden in the sense we suddenly found that so many states, participants in so many states are willing to send in their entry.